Is Superman the real guy, or when he dumbs himself down, is Clark Kent the real guy? Is Batman the real guy, or is Bruce Wayne? Because
Right.
one of them is the weaker one, and then one of them knows the right thing to do at the right time.
Welcome to And Then I Did This. Prepare to be inspired as we celebrate the unique journeys of individuals who've had the courage to break free and live life on their own terms. Their lives prove that you truly can be free to live your best and most authentic life. Let's get to it. Welcome to the show. Today, I have a special guest, Dave Crane, a former BBC journalist, a radio station manager, TV host, recording artist, and author. Dave's been entertaining audiences since he was 3. Today, he does keynote speaking, training, consulting, and private mentoring. With 30 years of engaging millions at premier events worldwide, his passion is sharing his knowledge with the next generation of effective communicators. Dave, welcome to the show.
It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Share your journey, how you got started, and then we'll go into present, what you're doing.
How long have you got? That's a terrible question to ask me. Dave, since you were born, what happened? I'll put it together. I'll make it as easy as possible to do. So, I was at a speaking event yesterday with a load of content creators of different levels and so on. And they said, right, Dave, we've got about half an hour. Would you like to introduce yourself, say who you are, what you do, and then we'll take some questions. 90 minutes later, we went, should we cut? We'll time out. The sun's coming up. Let's just stop. Okay. So, I lived in the UK for until about 30 years ago. I'm in Dubai now.
Mhm.
And growing up in the UK, I loved entertainment. The reason I was into entertainment so much was because of the fact that when you're a mixed race kid growing up in white areas, you need to stand out or you need to be great at fighting. So you're either
Right.
really good at making people laugh or really
Mhm.
good at defending yourself. I decided to
Right.
go down the laughter mode. So I became a natural entertainer, and
Mhm.
that was how my career started. My parents put me in talent competitions. I was in school plays and school musicals, and I won the equivalent of America's Got Talent. I won the Scottish version because I grew up in Scotland. When I
Oh,
was about 11, I came second, actually. The reason I came second was because they took they put us on tour to go around and do stuff, and
right.
so an 11-year-old is not what they want if they're going to be doing nightclubs and all the rest. So
Oh,
another
right.
lady won because of that. That was
Oh,
nobody said that, but an 11-year-old is not what you want to win this
right.
competition. So I
Right.
went on
Mhm.
to then work on the holiday resorts in the UK. I learned to be a DJ. I studied law, dropped out. I was terrible at it and never wanted to go. I went because my parents wanted me to have a proper grown-up job. And eventually you stop arguing and just go, okay. So I went away and I wasted their money and I had a great time, but none of it had any work involved. So when I
Wow.
dropped out of doing that, I did hospital radio, which is away in the UK, to learn to
Right.
be a radio guy. So you just do it. And the great thing about learning to do it in a hospital is that nobody's able to say that it's rubbish because they can't move, most of the
Oh.
people. So you're on your own. So I used to
Oh.
get up at about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was given the overnight, no, I was given the first show, which was from 5 till 7, the pre-breakfast show. So I'd get up at 3 o'clock. I'd walk in the snow or in the rain or whatever number of miles to get there, carry my records.
Oh
I'd,
my
I'd let
gosh.
myself in. I'd do the show, finish, walk back in the rain, and then I'd
Oh,
go to my job.
oh
And without it, I'd never have learned to do radio. So I knew why I was
my
doing it. I went on to then go to the holiday resorts in the UK to learn to be an entertainer after dropping out of university. I went to work for the BBC. I was a BBC journalist for many years. And then
right.
I didn't get the break I wanted. So I went on to a TV show called Blind Date, which is like the dating game, I believe, in America. And I won the Christmas show. So 20
Oh.
million people saw me win. So I
Ah.
was like one of the most famous people for about 3 seconds in the UK. I'd say what's really weird about fame is the next day I went shopping with some friends, as you just do, and
Right.
everybody recognized me because in those days there was no cable TV, no satellite
Right.
TV, it was just like 4 channels.
Oh.
And so I'm walking around a shopping mall and everybody's staring at me and whispering to each other. And it's not what you hope, which is people coming up and saying, well done, and giving a round of applause. It's
Right.
people staring at you like you're an alien.
Oh no.
And it makes you realize what fame really is. It's really
Right.
uncomfortable because they're having their own discussions about you, making their own opinions about you, and you're not
Right.
involved in it. Now, when
Oh,
it calmed down a bit, that was fine. 3 months later, I'm like a local hero, blah, blah,
right.
blah. And so I wanted to get a job on TV, which is why I did it in the first place.
Right.
And I got shortlisted for a couple of TV shows.
Mhm.
But in those days, you only had a VHS cassette, which only I remember. Nobody else seems to remember what they are. And so sending a VHS cassette to an agency or a TV company is like getting a book, covering
Right.
it in newspapers or brown paper, and throwing it over your wall and hoping it hits somebody, because that's what proper post was. And
Right.
so after 3 months, I got a load of "Dear Dave, thank you, but no thank yous," only because I
Right.
realized I was in the wrong part of Britain. I should have been in London. So I
Oh,
started going for job interviews in London, and I thought, I hate it. At this
right.
time, here's a story for you. I walked into the BBC where I was working as a journalist,
Okay.
and I only really did the blind date thing to also prove to them, you should promote me and have me do a proper show, not just as a news guy. You should
Right.
have me doing this. Here's my proof. And my new
Right.
boss, who was a teensy bit racist, turned around to me and said, we think we should let you go. Clearly, you shouldn't be doing this job. You should be doing something
No.
different. And he sacked me the weekend after I'd been in front of 20 million people
Oh my
singing my
God.
praises. So
Right.
eventually, after that, I went, you know what? I don't even like the country now.
Yeah.
I went for a number
Wow.
of jobs that were DEI, that were specific for people of color, because they
Right.
knew in the BBC that people weren't getting opportunities, and I
Right.
didn't get one. And I thought, I've just one blind date. I'm running a local magazine. I'm speaking on stage. I'm doing gigs.
Right.
I've got all these things, and I'm on the radio, and I've got a postgraduate diploma in radio
Right.
journalism, and I can't have this job which is below my level. What are you
Right.
looking for? So I
Right.
just went, that's it. I'm off. So I took a DJing job overseas, and DJing was quite a few levels below what I was.
Right.
And I came to Dubai. I was in a sports bar, and I introduced the all you can eat and drink deal. So you pay one fee, you can drink and eat as much as you wanted. And
Right.
my bar went through the roof. It was so popular. And that became a deal that now everybody uses across the whole region,
Right.
Middle East region. Everyone uses it. But don't pay me commission, I get zero. But we had a good time for about 3 years doing that. And at the time, a new radio station opened up. My friend got a job. He said, Dave, do you want to join? So I went along, and they'd brought a load of people over from the UK. And they said to
Right.
me, well, we give you a weekend show. So I took the show and I made it my own and did really well. And then there was a coup in the radio station where they
Oh,
went to start a new radio station, and they
oh my
left all the
God.
people they didn't like behind. So I stepped up and took
Oh my
charge.
gosh.
And I got
Wow.
my best mate, who was just a presenter. I got the
Right.
guy who was working production, who was just doing adverts, and a girl who was reading the news. They weren't heads of departments. I took them to a hotel, and we sat and had coffee. And I said, look, we're going to have no job if we don't tell the
Right.
owner of the radio station what's
Right.
really going on. Because the guys had all left, resigned, but taken all the
Right.
music with them, taken all the best presenters with
Oh
them.
my God.
So we held the fort, and we stepped up. I became station manager. We got head of news, head of programs, and head of
Right.
production. And we told the market, stay with us. While we recruited for
Right.
3 months staff to come over and fill all the gaps. Everybody who was just in the vicinity all got a show overnight,
Oh,
wherever it was. So we had to stay on there to let people know that nothing's
exactly.
changed. And
Wow.
eventually we managed to starve the new radio station that came up of advertising dollars. So they all lost their jobs. They all left, went back to the UK.
Right.
So we had we had our existing radio station doing really well. And the people came over from the UK to fill the gaps. So we had a really
Right.
kicking radio station. But then they all looked to us, who'd saved the station, and went, look, we can kick them out because we've got more experience in radio than they have. So
Oh
they
no.
started a coup inside the radio station on the
Oh,
guys who kept them afloat for a job. So I did it for a while, and then I left the radio station. And then I went to work for another one. But to be honest with you, my heart was broken. And
right.
my patience for what I wanted to do, which is to be a big radio guy and a TV guy, disappeared. Now, during that time, I got to work with James Brown, Enrique Iglesias, the Spice Girls. I hosted Dubai Rugby Sevens, which is like it's like the Super Bowl. For 20 years, I was going out and doing the thing with the audience and all the
Yeah.
TV cameras. So I actually have reached about 1 billion people in my career on
Right.
TV and in person.
So
And I
great.
decided to walk from radio because I just thought well, my heart's not in it anymore. And
Right.
remember, I'd only done it. I did 10 years in radio in Dubai. I got to the top of the food chain. I was the most famous radio guy. But I only did it because I wanted to prove to those in the UK who weren't actually paying attention, look what you missed out on.
Right. Exactly.
But who am I showing it to? Because now I've got a completely different audience. They all know who I am, and I don't
Right.
want to spend all my time watching my back because people are trying to push me off the top of the mountain. So I just resigned and left and stopped doing it.
Right.
And what's really strange again about fame is the next day my phone stopped ringing and never rang again. I wasn't invited to the opening of anything at all as a famous person, nothing, because I wasn't money anymore. I wasn't
Oh
currency.
my
My face wasn't worth.
gosh.
You're that guy who used to be in radio. Yeah, okay.
Right.
We'll get somebody who is in radio. And it taught me a lot about being famous and by
Right.
why it doesn't matter, and being influencer doesn't matter, and having a
Right.
life that makes you happy really matters.
Yes.
And so very quickly, because I realized I've taken up most of the show talking
Yeah.
about me, I'll
No,
just get
that's
to where we
good.
are now.
Yeah.
So I had survived for a long time. I mean, I met a beautiful woman, and we had a child and 2 dogs. We didn't give birth to them; we bought them, and we just had this wonderful life. And I didn't
Yeah.
need to prove to anybody because when you're an
Right.
entertainer, you go on stage, but when you're not on stage, you're very
Right.
private. You keep your own little
Right.
world. So
Right.
I loved that, and I love still doing
Mhm.
gigs. And that was great. That all continued for a long time. I was doing top corporate gigs. I was working around the world with big events and
Right.
festivals. I was traveling as something really good. And I never advertised. I just was there. People knew who I was until the pandemic. And then the pandemic hit, and all my clients who wanted to learn to speak and all my gigs stopped overnight. My wife was a top wedding photographer, stopped
Right.
overnight. And we had no income for 2 years.
Wow.
So I
Holy
had to
cow.
reinvent myself again. Now,
Right.
what would you do in that situation? I'll throw this at you so you can speak because it's your show.
Yeah. I mean, I would look at what do I love to do and what is there a need for and what can I do given the confines of this contrived situation that we're in
Very good
and try to
answer.
match those 3 together.
Very good. So it's effectively the hedgehog concept, which is, what are you brilliant at doing? What do you love to do? And what will
Right.
people pay for? So
Right.
if nobody's paying for speaking or they need to learn to speak, what else do I know? Well, I know how to be famous. I know how to be a celebrity. And I decided,
Right.
well, why don't I help people to become celebrities in their industry? So I pivoted and created a thing called the Industry Icon
Right.
Program. And I went online every day for 200 shows during the pandemic. So as you can see, for anybody who's actually watching the video version of this, then I can go nighttime, I can go to a coffee shop, I can change to my own late night TV show. That's what I was just about to do when the pandemic was over.
Oh
So
my
I could
gosh.
be here and I could do shows like this, and Christmas I
Right.
can turn it like that. And so
Ah.
I attracted clients enough to pay the bills.
Oh,
And then when I
wow.
came out of it, that was it. My wife, she's from Singapore, turned out to be a tech genius. I didn't know. She's brilliant, as many
Oh,
Singaporeans are, and Japanese, really good at
so
this. So
good.
she took care of all the tech and still does. And so what was challenging, and I think this is where it fits in with you and your audience, is after 2 years of really fighting hard to stay afloat, the stress had built up, and I had
Right.
post-traumatic stress disorder. I feel like I'd been
Oh,
at war for 2 years. And so
right.
when work started coming back, it was still bits and bobs because people would be cancelled if the CEO had
Right.
COVID and had to they'd cancel the event and all
Right.
sorts. And so I had a real problem because I wasn't burnt out. It's a thing called burnt in. Do you know this one?
No, tell
So
me.
imagine the wheels are spinning on your car and you're stuck in sand. The car's
Right.
working fine, but you can't get any traction. So you keep revving.
Right.
That's where I
Yes.
was. So I was going every day. I was online 16 hours. I was doing 7 days a week. My wife said, take time off, take Saturdays off. And I said, I can't
Right.
do that. What if I miss something? She said, do it. And it was brilliant. That was the best thing I did. But also, I had anxiety and I had depression. I didn't know it. You don't know that when you've got
Right.
it. You
We're
just know
never
you're
gonna know.
grumpy and you're grumpy to everybody and you can't stop it. And so when work started coming back, I did something which I'm going to share with everybody. It's going to help them with speaking, it's going to help with stress, and it might help them change their career. So this one will be useful.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about it. I thought, well, I'm a hypnotist, I'm a life coach, business coach. How do I get over this? Because what was happening is people approaching me to do gigs and then canceling. Now, what happens normally is I make them pay up front. So I'm not going to give
Mm-hmm.
store credit to a big billion-dollar
Right.
corporate, so they pay me afterwards. They pay me in
Right.
advance, and if they cancel, they lose the money or they give me a new
Right.
date. That's it, but the
Right.
money's in my account. So
Right.
I wasn't ready to do that because I'm scared I'll lose a
Mm-hmm.
client.
Right.
I've got no pressure when I'm so desperate to have the money coming in. So
Right.
I thought, well, how can I fix this? And as a coach, and you're a coach as well,
Yeah.
it all comes down to one sentence: ask yourself better questions. So I
Right.
started asking myself, how can I fix this? What do I have around me? What's the best version of me? And the best
Right.
version of me was not the one that was doing stuff and
Right.
trying to fix this. Best version of me is with a live audience and a microphone and a live gig. So I've got sponsors, I've got TV, I've got radio, I've got my team, I've got the audience, I've got an
Mm-hmm.
agenda, I've got a deadline, I've got about 10, 20 different things to do. And I make
Right.
snap decisions and I'm very good at it. I
Right.
thought, well, what if I get that guy, let's call him Max, to look after my life right now? So I handed over keys to my life to him. Now that's going to make me sound like a nutter. Let me explain. So, like actors do this all the
Right.
time, they get into character. And I knew that I get
Right.
into character when I start speaking on a stage. Well, I don't, I
Right.
just flip, I just do it, do a job,
Right.
then get quiet afterwards because I don't
Right.
like being too loud when I'm not doing the gig. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought, okay, what I'll do is I'll test this. I'll ask myself, what would that version of me do with these clients who are umming and ahhing
Right.
about paying me? And that version of me said, well, why don't you just give them 24 hours to get back and say the proposal doesn't exist after that? I went, ooh, good idea, but they've got to go to corporate, to procurement, to their boardroom.
Right.
I'll make it 48 hours because I didn't want to kill that side of what my decision-making
Right.
process was. Didn't want to kill Max. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to get it. So that worked
Exactly.
really well. I got about 20, 25% conversions, and the other
Mm.
70% came back or didn't come back, but I didn't wait for them. I moved on. So it was better for generating
Yeah.
income. And I thought, well, what if I get Max to do more stuff? So I started handing over other elements of my life to Max
Mm.
until I am now Max. The only time I'm not Max is with my family because I won't allow
Right.
that energy to be there. So for
Right.
anybody who's thinking, how do I do that? There's 3 steps. First one, imagine the birth certificate version of you is the name that you're given when you're born. So
Right.
mine is David Maxwell Crane. You go to school, the teacher reads out a register, and your friends will give you a nickname or they'll give you a shortened version of your name.
Right.
And that becomes your social media name. That's
Mm.
stage 2. So a
Right.
social media name is what's on your socials, it's what's on your business card.
Right.
That guy wasn't strong enough. But there's a version of you that when you're working really hard in your zone, whether you're
Mm-hmm.
doing sports or you're working on a
Right.
proposal and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you know, this is brilliant, I can't believe the time's gone so quickly. Or you turn
Right.
around to people and say, give that to me, I'll take care of it. Honestly, I'm great at this. That
Right.
is your superhero version of you.
Yeah. So
Tap into
good.
that and be that.
So good. So good. That's brilliant. It's so simple, but it's not intuitive unless you hear someone say it as an example, because it's shifting identity. That is one of the biggest challenges people have in making a change in life is you have to take on that new identity to be it until you become it. It
Now,
is a brilliant way to do it.
thank you. There's a lot of people who are going to be kind of puzzled. What does this mean? So I'm going to throw another
Yeah.
angle on this. Is Superman the real guy, or when he dumbs himself down, is Clark Kent the real guy? Is Batman the real guy, or is Bruce Wayne? Because
Right.
one of them is the weaker one, and then one of them knows the right thing to do at the right time.
Right.
We, through school and everything and imposter syndrome, dumb ourselves down to fit in. But if we're very good at what we do, there's a version of us that's brilliant, almost like a superhero. So supposing that
Right.
version of you, you gave them a few more tasks to do and then
Right.
wore that more often, what would that give you? So once I'd got that, I started approaching people differently. Max would go up to people and talk to them. Dave would sit and wait until somebody noticed me and ask me a question. So I went
Right.
to a breakfast business meeting, met a couple of people I was chatting to. I said, "What do you do?" They said, "We're Swiss bankers." I said, "Okay, what kind of things do you work on?" I said, "Well, we've got a big event coming up in Davos where we're looking after the African hub." I said, "Great, well, you need an MC, you're going to need me. Give me a business card, here's mine, let's talk this afternoon, I'll call you when we leave here." I called him, 2 weeks later, I'm in Davos. So I did the gig in Davos,
Wow.
and now I'm at Davos, I make friends with a guy who's the right-hand man of the Vatican. Later on that year, I'm speaking at the Vatican. I'm working now with the Vatican and doing gigs. In fact, I did Davos the previous year for the Vatican. And so now I connect, and it's Max who connects. Still
Right.
me, still Dave Crane. Nobody else knows.
Exactly.
So there you go. That's how you deal with stress and everything else.
But that's, yeah, an opportunity to not pass up. And I think if people will label themselves, oh, I'm an introvert, I don't engage well in crowds, or I whatever label or excuse they've given themselves, that's a way to overcome that. So it's brilliant. Brilliant. So talk a little bit about what you do now, because you obviously have such a strong speaking background, and which we had touched on earlier before we started recording, that fear of public speaking, fear of speaking is one of the number one fears, next to death that people have. So talk about that and how you've leveraged all your knowledge and experience to help others.
So I think possibly the way to deal with this, or to answer your question, is to take it like an issue for people who find it difficult to speak. So I've
Right.
always had to speak because my mum said to me from a very young age, "Dave, don't get involved in anything where people are doing bad stuff because they'll only remember you're there and you'll get into trouble." So
Mm.
therefore, I would always speak up to be noticed. Otherwise, I don't blend in anyway, but people would then make a decision on what they thought I was going to be. So I would just talk. And
Right.
so, for anybody who's got a fear of public speaking, it's built in from our cavemen days. And people might not know
Mm.
this, so I'm going to explain why. So, imagine you're in the cave
Right.
and a bear comes into the cave and you're on your
Mhm.
own and the family's away. A couple of things kick in naturally. So your heart starts beating, your blood is being pumped
Mhm.
around your system, your head goes empty. You can't think
Right.
about anything because all the things you're thinking about have just disappeared. And your
Right.
stomach, you lose interest in eating because there's nothing that matters apart from I've got a bear in the cave. So there's a
Right.
couple of things that happen to you. First can be that as your blood is pumping, it sends the blood in towards your legs, and before you know it, you're running out the cave, past the bear.
Right.
You're not thinking about it. You don't realize what's happening until you've run out the cave
Right.
door, and the bear turns around, but it's not going to catch you because you don't want to be dinner for the bear.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That's called
Right.
flight. The second one is the bear comes in, your heart starts beating, you've got your family in the cave, or you can't get past it, your head goes empty, your stomach, you're not interested in eating, but the blood goes into your hands. Next thing you do is get a weapon, you start attacking the bear. You can't let it see your family, you can't let it go, you just get it out of here.
Right.
Fight, fight, fight. Fight.
Right.
Natural, subconscious these are. Next thing is the bear comes into the cave, it hasn't seen you yet. Your blood starts pumping, your head goes empty, you're not hungry at all. You can feel everything, but it hasn't seen you yet, so you
Right.
freeze. Your senses can hear it, it's behind you. You can smell its breath. If you look,
Right.
move your eyes, you can see it, but it hasn't noticed you yet. When people have a fear of public speaking, that's what happens to them. They freeze, so the danger will go away, but it's an audience that's staring at them. But a natural way of dealing with it is to
Right.
deal with it like that. So, how do you deal
Right.
with it? If the bear was to come into the cave and it was the real world, not real world, 8,000
Yeah.
years ago, then you could have a thing called face. And what that is you put things in place just in case. So you've got
Right.
spears, you've got maybe a trough of oil that you
Right.
can pour a torch onto and the flames come up, or
Right.
there's an escape route, or there's
Right.
a horn you can blow so the neighbors come in. So you've got a way of
Right.
dealing with it. And in real time,
Right.
you face that bear and you take it on. There's a couple of other things that people talk about as well. I'm trying to remember what they are. I think one is friend, I think it is. So you try and become friends with the bear. There's
Right.
another one as well, but I can't remember, which is
Oh,
like Stockholm syndrome, might be friend. But anyway, there's a
right.
couple of different options to it. But the
Right.
main one is freeze. This is what most people have, that
Right.
fear of public speaking.
Right.
So when you become a public speaker or even talk in public, you know how to have internal dialogue. You know how to
Right.
talk to one person. So just
Right.
pretend that it's a one-headed person. It's a multi-headed one person you're talking
Right.
to.
Right.
Now, what most people don't know is audiences are not judging you. Audiences don't care about you. They care about what's in it for them. So what they're actually doing
Exactly.
is they're working out, if I spend time looking at you, listening to you, is my life going to be better? So are you the
Right.
real deal? That's all you have
Right.
to do. You have to prove to them that there's something worth it. And if they get
Right.
something worth it out of it, then people tend to go on holiday in front of you. They don't tend to walk out in front of you. Real audiences don't. What they do is this from school. So this
Oh.
means fascinating. This means boring. This means
Mhm.
I hate you. This means I love you. This means I'm going to stalk you. This means please press a button so a trapdoor takes me away. That's what people do. That's your
Right.
average
Right.
audience.
Right.
So you don't
Oh,
know what they're thinking, but what do
right.
you care? If you can
Right.
set up feedback loops with them, then as you're speaking, just double check that they're with you all the way through. So as you start
Yes.
speaking, you ask little questions, rhetorical questions they don't have to answer. Does everybody understand that? And
Right.
what you get is exactly what you are doing to me now. You're nodding.
Yeah.
10% of your audience are noddies. They will
Right.
nod because they're with you. Now,
Right.
for anybody who's got a dog, when your dog will look at you and it'll stare at you like it understands every word, and it probably does understand more than you think, but it's really going, can we go for a walk or do I get biscuits? That's all it cares about.
Right.
You're saying, oh, I've had
Exactly.
a terrible day today. I'm so glad you love me. It's going, does that mean biscuits or walk or what? So your
Right.
audience will respond to you. They'll nod when they're with you, and the noddies, when you see who they are, when you say, "Did you understand that?" and they don't nod, you know that's a no. Could I go
Yeah.
over it again for you?
Yeah.
Nod. So you
Yeah.
explain it again, and then you say, "Does that make sense now?" I mean, nod, and you move
Right.
on. So what
Right.
you do is all the way through your presentation, you just set up for the noddies to give you feedback. So by the time
Right.
you get to the end of a presentation, you know it worked because otherwise you'd
Right.
have seen them. Now,
Right.
I go on stage and host tons of events where people do their speech, audience is silent, they walk off to silence, and the audience is like, they either enjoyed it or they hated it or they're on holiday in their
Right.
head, whatever it is. And they say, Dave, how was that? And I'll say, it's okay. But the point isn't that it was okay. The
Right.
point is you should know because you
Exactly.
know how to work an audience. So
Right.
I'm going to give you a crash course here. I'm going to give you a way to guarantee that the audience in 9 seconds will eat out the palm of your hand. And I'll
Okay.
also teach you how an audience will give you a round of applause when you finish.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is my gift to you. The bill's in the post from me and Chris because I know you'll buy it. So when you go out to an audience, don't go out and start speaking straight away. Get in a position where you can see everybody and they can see you. You train
Mm.
them or they train you. So remember that.
Mhm.
You position
Mm.
yourself as somebody to be listened to, or they will position themselves as people who don't care and will tune out. So
Yeah.
what I do when I go out to an audience is I'll do my homework first of all. I know who the audience is. Even if I just arrive and there's a speaker on before me, I'll do a profiling of the Wi-Fi code of who the audience is. What age are they? What do they want? What do they need to hear from me? What are they enjoying the last speaker? What did they do really
Mhm.
well? If you can, you do that,
Yeah.
or you talk to the organizer, or you make a snap judgment when you go out there. But you work
Mhm.
out from looking at the people, who are they? What do they need? Give them what they want. Yeah, I go on stage and I stand there, and this is if I'm hosting it, but also sometimes if I'm speaking as a keynote and as a different host, but I've got to reset the room to be ready for me. So I'll
Right.
go out and say, "Good morning, everybody. Good morning," and they all look at me like, "What?" Now then I'll say, "Oh, come on, we can do it much better than that. Good morning,
Right.
everybody. Good morning. Good
Mhm.
morning. Thank you so much." 9 seconds. So what
Right.
was I actually doing there? I was stopping them from doing
Right.
whatever they're doing. An interruption Good morning,
Right.
everybody. Good morning. Nobody in the real world would say. But have you ever been to a concert where everyone sings the chorus? Teach
Yeah.
them how to sing it.
Yeah.
Brian Adams, Summer of '69, dun, 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 and everyone sings it, then he joins in. You do this. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And what I'm actually saying is stop talking, put your cigarette out, stop drinking your coffee, put your phone down, forget what your friend's
Exactly.
talking about. Daddy's here. It's a throwaway line I don't expect a response to. Sometimes they say good morning, sometimes they mumble. Doesn't matter. Next line. Oh, come on. We can do much better than that. We can do this is
Right.
stagecraft entertainment. Now, have you ever seen in the days before he became public enemy number one, Kevin, what's his face? Who was in that show about being a president? What was it called? Oh,
Not
God, what was
Kevin
it called?
Spacey.
Kevin Spacey
Yeah.
played the president of the United States in this amazing show. I can't remember what it's called. It was a British show that they redid in America. And the best part of it, I'm trying to remember the name of it. What's it called? Oh, it will come to me in the middle of the night at 3:00 in the morning. I'll be so upset. So anyway, he did this show, and what the best part of it, because he's a brilliant actor, really good actor,
Right.
is he'd stop in the middle of a scene and he'd turn to the camera. He says, "I hate this guy. And you're wondering why I'm being so nice to him? Because I've got something up my sleeve. Watch this." And then he go back in the scene. So Deadpool does this.
Oh,
Deadpool talks to the camera, talks to us as the audience, then goes back
right.
in, and nobody else knows he's doing it. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking the fourth wall. It's not me versus the audience. I'm not presenting to them. I'm
Right.
joining them, but I'm on stage. We can
Right.
do much better than that.
Right.
That tells them that
Yeah.
they're with a professional who knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
Then I say, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Raising my hands to make sure that they do it, being a little bit
Right.
more positive and louder. And
Right.
then they say good morning back to me. Then I thank them because I've taken them over a journey. If I just ignore them, then they feel they've been used. Then I go into my presentation. My name is Dave Crane. I'd like to share with you today about how to make cheese on toast so it's really delicious, or whatever I'm going to talk to about.
Right.
I don't have my presentation first, then start talking, and
Right.
30 seconds later, people put their phones down and go, "What was they on about?" Because they've missed the intro to you. I do them first, then presentation second.
So good.
Another tip, never present or do a speech again for the rest of your life. What you do is you have a conversation with your audience.
Oh.
It's not you versus them. It's you all talking together, but they're not allowed to speak. Takes the pressure off. It's not them judging, is this person going to make my life better? This is one of my friends who's speaking on stage, and I liked the way he introduced himself, and I'm up for this. It's almost like you're sitting at a table with them, but you've got a microphone and you've got that positioning. I did promise one more thing, which is how to get the audience to clap once you've finished, which is gold dust for anybody. Do you know how you do this?
Tell me.
Now, most people finish their presentation and hope and pray that everybody liked it enough. Don't do that. You say, "Thank you so much for your time. You've been an amazing audience. Give yourselves a massive round of applause."
Oh,
You start clapping. You tell them they're brilliant.
yes.
They clap themselves, not you.
That is brilliant.
And while they're clapping, you say thank you and you walk off the stage. And everyone says, "How popular was that amazing talk you gave on how to get the scrapey bits out the inside of your fridge?"
Right.
And the organizers go, "Wow, you went down better than anybody else." And you go, "Yeah, only because I had a trick, which is get them to clap for themselves at the very end."
Oh, so good. So good. Well, and you're an engaging speaker. So I'm sure, yes, the content that was delivered was good too. But to your point, they're sitting, and most people are having conversations about what happened earlier in the day, what's going to happen tomorrow, what happened when they were on the break. They're not even sitting present with themselves, let alone with you. So you have to interrupt. It's making me think of, some of the other speakers, like, like Tony Robbins, and I think I was just recently around Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he'll say, "Are you with me?" And exactly, and then having and depending on the situation, having them now explain that to your neighbor. I've actually heard him say, "Go ahead and meet the person next to you and tell them that they're a genius." Introduce yourself as a genius. Just something that is makes people laugh, but it also gets them engaged. So those tricks that you shared, those are golden. And we can make the difference between something, falling flat or something being phenomenal.
Getting
Yeah.
booked to speak and paid next time. And there's one little
Yes.
trick in this. So when you go out and sometimes, I mean, for me, I'm sometimes doing a lot of tech, cybersecurity. I do a lot of industry, IT industry events because they're so boring, but with me, they're not. And so they're really
Right.
dry. And the speakers go out there and they might as well read a phone book. But the
Right.
audience kind of gets them, but there's no fun because they're not used to
Right.
talking to people, it's used to typing. So they
Right.
get me to make sure I reset the energy in the room. So when I say
Right.
good morning, everybody, good morning. Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good
Right.
morning. I'm listening for the
Right.
level of good morning from the audience so I can
Mm,
judge later on when I need a response from them how
right.
loud is normal. So
Oh,
when I turn
interesting.
later on, I'll say, does everybody know how to clean their fridge? Yeah. Does everybody know how to clean their fridge? Yeah. I've
Mm,
taught them to tell me what I've set up a routine. I
right.
won't get them louder than that. And there's
Right.
usually, depending on the content, a diminishing return that goes onto it unless you reset them and get them to
Right.
do something else. Like you said, Joe Dispenza, talk to the
Right.
person next to you. What do they say?
Right.
Okay, let's get back to what we're doing. So you
Right.
do all those other things, but it means that you know that you've trained the audience to respond to you, the noddies, everybody. And by the end of it, if you kept that going all the way through, clapping for themselves is a formality.
Exactly. That is brilliant. That is literally brilliant. So
Thank you.
good. Oh my gosh, so good.
So I've just taught myself out of a job now. Nobody's going to book me to help them. We've seen it
No.
all, Dave. We know what you're going to do.
Oh, yeah, I know that the skill that comes along with it. There's a lot that goes in between there and the preparation and all that. So I know you've got other tricks up your
Oh,
sleeve.
completely. It's
Oh,
practice. It's practice. And it's also knowing
yeah.
who your audience is and having a signature message you want to get across to them. And also, it's a lot to do with stagecraft and it's a lot to do with the heart.
Right.
You set the room the way you want it to
Absolutely.
be. And I've seen some incredible speakers who break all the rules and go down fantastically. But this is
Right.
where your personal branding is really important because people will
Right.
look you up on LinkedIn while you're
Right.
speaking or when they find out who you are, and
Interesting.
they'll look at it and say, is this person worth it? And if they
Right.
can't find anything in your LinkedIn because you've not put anything and you don't seem like the real deal, they've already half got one foot out the room.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So share a bit more about how people can get engaged with you. And then I want to go back into some of your advice around people who are unhappy where they're at and what they can do. But share a little bit more about.
It's easy to find me.
Mm,
I'm on LinkedIn. Just go for Dave Crane Dubai and I'm
okay.
there. Or go to Speak on Stage, which is my website. And I've got all my programs. I didn't mention about the Thought Leaders Network, or did I? I can't
No,
remember.
you
It's
didn't.
been a
You
blur.
didn't. Nope. Nope. Not
So I,
yet.
I created I created the community because after the pandemic, when I was like suffering from not being able to connect
Right.
with people after
Hmm.
being indoors for such a long time, because
Right.
everyone else went back to work, but I had no work to go to. There's no gigs. So I
Right.
just
Oh my
got used to doing
gosh.
this, which was challenging.
Yeah.
And so going out
Right.
to meet people again was hard. And there's
Right.
nobody there who had a community that was interested in what it
Right.
is that I needed people for. So I created my own one called the Thought Leaders Network. And I wrote a book in it called the Thought Leaders Playbook. And I've got a community of
Nice.
3,500 people on LinkedIn and on WhatsApp. And I've got a group called the Think Tank who I mentor every Friday and teach them how to do stuff. So for
Wow.
instance, tomorrow, I'm just researching for our session tomorrow. I'm going to have maybe, I don't know, probably about 30 people will turn up for tomorrow's session. And it's all online, so they're all around the
Right.
world. And without talking about the conflicts and the challenges of being in Dubai we've got used to, one thing
Right.
that's come out of it is you can use leverage on your business to be able to
Mm.
say, I hold a gateway that nobody else can get past. Why don't I monetize that? So that's what I'm going to be showing to people tomorrow. So we've already gone across a thing called the Great Formula, which I'll share with you, which is, I didn't create this. Mark Joyner, a really smart thinker, did. Three things that you need to do in the Great Formula. First one is create an unmissable offer, which is like Domino's Pizza's had, an irresistible offer. Buy my pizza and it comes to your house in 30 minutes, or you get it for free. Who's not going to order Domino's Pizza? But that took them to being one of the tops in the food chain. Now, the second one I'm going to throw at you is a question, which is, if you were making burgers, and if I had a burger shop and you had a burger shop, I would outsell your burger shop. And I'm going to ask you how you would outsell mine. Any ideas you have, throw at me. I'll put you on the spot.
Oh, do a 2-for-1, a 2-for-1 burger offer.
Okay, but you're not going to make a lot of money from that, but carry on.
I know. The profit wouldn't be very great.
What else?
Free drink with a burger.
Okay, free stuff again. So I'm going to put you out your misery, because I don't want you it's your show. You could just go, right, just edit out everything that Dave says and put a funny voice under him instead. Just say it's Max. He's mental. I use this question for rooms full of CEOs and rooms full of students and whoever I'm working with, and most of them throw different answers, but nobody gets it right. I would outsell, and some people say we've got cows in the backyard. Choose the one you want. And I'm like, what? Stop! That's not nice. Or they'll say we'll get rid of the bread, we'll make it lettuces instead, so it's more healthy. Or we've got none of that. I will outsell you with my burgers, because I will only sell them to a hungry crowd. I won't go to a food court in a shopping mall full of different stores where you've got to price point everything. I'll go to an industrial estate that has no burger place.
Exactly.
Or a sports game. Baseball, football, set up a stand where every burger's got botulism in it because it's disgusting, but you'll still pay $50 because you're starving. So that's what you do. You find a hungry crowd of people who want your stuff. And the third thing to make you more profits is what McDonald's does better than anybody. It's one word. How does McDonald's improve a profit on their sales? What do they say to you?
Supersize it. Do you
want to upsize that?
Yeah.
And instantly you go, yeah, okay, what is it? And you pay whatever it is. And their profit margin goes through the roof. Why? Because they've calculated it. And that sentence is gold. So those three things make the great formula. I taught everyone to do that in our think tank last week. And also how to go to the next stage, which is to create a bulletproof business model for you. So as a thought leader, when you're going through a conflict like we are in Dubai right now, where money's freezing down, you can really create a relationship with the market. So when money starts moving again, people say, thank you. Where do I sign? So that's what I do at my think tank inside the Thought Leaders Network. But my aim is to get people, and I don't care what the political denomination is, just don't bring it to the table in the group. Don't talk about your race, don't talk about your spiritual beliefs, don't talk about sexism, don't talk about your earnings, don't talk about your politics. Just be a good person. Everyone loves their family and they want to have a good life. Let's just start with that. And it's grown really well. And I do it because I love it, and I do it because I love the people I'm working with.
So that leads me to the people who are miserable out there doing something, advice and insight for them to get unstuck and do something with their lives that they know they need to do, but they're just afraid to take the step. What advice?
So here's what you do. Well, there's a holistic approach to it, which is learn to do breathing exercises, which I'm sure you're an expert in anyway, and you show people how to do it, so you can de-stress. So box breathing at the very simplest, or the art of living, whatever it takes to be able to do these breathing exercises. Especially during the pandemic, I became very powerful doing them. And meditation's good as well. Yoga, going for a walk with your headset on, listen to a podcast, do whatever allows you to have some personal time, even for half an hour where nobody else is allowed to jump in and spoil stuff. So that's a kind of holistic one, I would say. But I would say also, for anybody who's got a job and they're saying, I hate this, I don't want to work anymore, don't leave your job. Don't go cold turkey. You've got bills to pay. Build a side hustle. Ask yourself, what do I really want to do? And also, how do I do it? What am I brilliant at? What do I love to do? And what will people pay for? And build it on a weekend, build it on a
Yeah.
nighttime, build it alongside your job. So
Mhm.
therefore, you can maybe earn from it, or maybe you do it for free, but because your heart's in that, you can put up with the job for a bit longer. Because a smart player is having
Yeah.
a job that pays your bills and a side hustle that works alongside it. And then when the side hustle builds up to a certain level, maybe you jump into it full time, or maybe you
Yeah.
don't. It's just made you happy to have that running alongside
Right.
it. But it does mean if you lose your job, you can step into the sidecar or the side hustle, and at
Yep.
least you've got a set of income that you're able to then do more of full time and be able to
Yep.
build it. But if you hate your job, then you need to work out what your real job should be.
Right.
And I think more and more people nowadays, young people coming out of university with massive debt and no job waiting for them, people with
Right.
AI that's making them step up, or they will lose that position. Not everybody will, but it does alter the game you're playing. And
Yeah.
also older people who are just being told you're not reskilling yourself and you're
Right.
expensive because you've got like a family I've got to pay for, and you've got medical I can't afford. So I'll just get somebody in younger and cheaper. Everybody is in a position, and that's going to get more challenging in the next couple of years.
Mhm.
So it's really important to find what works. So
Yeah.
if you talk to the richest people in the world, and I know lots of billionaires, I know lots of people are very
Mhm.
affluent, I know lots of people are really miserable and super rich as well. The truth is, and I remember watching an interview many years ago with the richest guy in the UK at the time. I don't know him. I've not lived in the UK for 30 years. And he was saying, what people get wrong about being so rich is I've still got to run a business, and I stress all the time about making sure that everyone's got a job. All the time, every decision I make, I don't want to lose a single member of staff over it. Or if I have to, then it's a decision for the better good. He said, I can only eat 3 meals a day. I can only
Mhm.
drive one car at a time,
Right.
and only live in one house with one bed
Right.
at a time. So all the rest of it is just added
Mhm.
extras. You don't need all those other things. So people are fighting all the time this commercial battle against each other.
Yeah.
I've got to have what they have. I've got to have what they have. I get a new iPhone every 4 years because I
Right.
don't need a new iPhone until then, because then the technology, it heats up too fast because they press a button to say, make Dave's phone horrible and make him buy a new one.
Right.
Most of the things in
Oh,
your life that you really need, you've already got. You just need to
right.
decide to get rid of all the things you don't and lean into the things that make you happy. Because one day it won't be there anymore. And do you want to really turn around and say, worked really hard and I never had me time?
It's so true. I mean, it's like you look at the regrets of the dying or the elderly. It's, not, oh, I wish I would have spent more time in the office or wish I would have had made more money. No, it's the relationships. It's who they became. Did they love, deeply? Did they experience life, not just go through it on autopilot? So,
There's a secret to life that I want to share with people. And it sounds like really arrogant to say it, but it's something I worked out from just watching countries, companies, experts all talk about happiness. Happiness experts. It's like a currency. We've got the happiest company in the city.
Mhm.
We've done a test. We look at all the stuff. Or we've got a country that's happier than any other country. We looked at
Yeah.
the stuff. I don't think happiness is what you need to chase. I'll tell you why. Because in order to be happy, you have to be angry or sad. And life is like this. So how can you tell happy until you've had sad or
Right.
had angry? Because then it resets itself. Because if you're always happy, it won't seem like happy because it's
Right.
normal.
Yeah,
So what
that's
you need to
true.
do is understand that there's a setting called contented. So search
Mm,
for contentedness. So I'll give you an
mm,
example. So I'm watching TV, and there's a travel program, and they show a rapper or a rock star who's having a party on a yacht. They're all drinking champagne, and Jay-Z and Beyonce come along, and Taylor Swift, and there's cameras, and they're just having the best time ever, and it's just everyone's dancing and singing. And I'm going, oh, I'd love to be there. That'd be amazing to be famous and with all these people. And I go, okay, well, what can I do while I'm watching this? I'm going to go in the kitchen. I'm going to make myself a cheese sandwich. I'm going to toast it. I'm going to make a cup of tea. I'm going to put a chocolate biscuit on the side because I'm a little bit cheeky and I like to party. And I'm going to go there. I'm going to sit there, eat my cheese sandwich, have my chocolate biscuit, my cup of tea. I'm going to put on a Marvel movie. And
right.
actually, I feel all right. I'm not doing what they're doing. That's their journey. But
Right.
I instantly reset what I'm doing. So I'm
Right.
happy in my own skin. So have have
Mm.
contentedness as your default setting.
Right.
It's easy to get that. So if you could be contented all your life,
Mhm.
sometimes happy, sometimes sad, but also able to reset it by saying, well, this isn't great, but it's not bad. I
Right.
can deal with this, and now I'll just enjoy this. I've hurt my finger, so I'm not going to do that again. What can I do to change
Right.
my mind? I'll go and get my cheese sandwich. Well, I'm not obsessed with cheese sandwiches, but if you can do this and reset and reframe your mind for all the things
Exactly.
happening in your life, then you have a good life.
Yeah.
And that's what the golden goose is. That's what everyone's chasing. Just have a good life.
Yeah. That I always say the attitude of gratitude. Gratitude shifts everything. Doesn't matter how bad something is, there's something you can do to look at life from a different angle and flip the script. It's like, oh, but I have this, but I have a roof over my head, or I have a warm bed to sleep in, or simple things can shift that perspective. So, yeah.
What's life trying to teach me from this
Right.
experience? What can I get? What would have been a worse version of this if I hadn't already known about it now? So I almost got
Right.
hit by a car. I'm really scared, but what if I'd been hit by a car? I've
Right.
got loads of bills to pay, so I've got to work out how to pay them. But what if these bills are impossible? If I
Right.
ask better questions, I'll fix this.
Yes.
So
Yes.
now I can fix this.
Yes.
When you talk to somebody who's a cancer survivor, they're usually the happiest of people because they had to
Right.
reinvent themselves and understand
Right.
that you do have a limited amount of time. So enjoy it. And I've read
Right.
about people. One of my people in the think tank is an expert. She was was a level 4 cancer survivor, and she helps people to be able to find extra time and survive longer or recover completely. And I remember reading about a guy that they couldn't fix and help with cancer, so he diagnosed himself with comedy films. So he
Oh,
watched comedy
yes.
films that made him laugh. And so all the endorphins trained his
Yes.
body to feel positive and good. And that
Yes.
helped to cancel the cancer. Now, I
Yes.
don't know if this is true or it's a made up tale. I'm going to Google it straight after this to see if it's
Right.
made up. But you can fix things with what you have. You
Yes.
already have all the tools, everything in your life. You would not be here and
Right.
tested unless the answers are right in front of you anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So much wisdom in such a jam-packed window of time. This is so good. So good.
25 minutes, it lasted an hour, I think.
Oh, everything is going to be in the show notes, so anyone can get in touch with you and engage further, because man, this was so good. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. It's an honor and a pleasure. And I really enjoyed meeting you. I loved all the way through staring at that stalker in the corner, which I think you're going to get rid of, who keeps watching your beach house. But apart from that, honestly, that you do an amazing job. And the reason that you're so popular is because you do get to work out what's going on with people. You can work out the Wi-Fi code of people. And the world really needs you to be reaching more about how to de-stress themselves and get a better version of
Right.
life. So
Right.
you are so
Yeah.
important. So thank you.
And that's a wrap on another episode of And Then I Did This, celebrating the lives of those who've walked away from the beaten path to pursue work and a life that nourishes their soul. If you're feeling inspired and ready to explore your own path to freedom, check out youcanbefree.life, where you'll find resources and support to help you break free and live life on your own terms. See you next time.